Bd23. Mesh, Story and Guidance. The Magical Council, 23 out of 32. Mesh, the guiding force of comprehension. The guiding force of comprehension. There is always more than you can see or comprehend. Quote, "We are too much accustomed to attribute to a single cause that which is the product of several, and the majority of all our controversies come from that." Marcus Aurelius. End of quote. Mesh's story. After Kalimabanco had taken its place as the governor of Crystalia, it was me, a drop of the ocean of love, the home of Kandu, that came to venture Crystalia. As a crystal child of light, I settled down in the lower crystal kingdom, and Kalimabanco observed me with care, for he knew he needed a team that would help him to keep life in Crystalia going. As a young child playing in the gardens of the castles of garments, located in the plains of dreams, Kalimabanco gave me the name Mesh, representing the maze of the history connections of everything and everybody in Crystalia the creation. From a very young age I was always interested how things came about and had endless questions of how some were answered, but many not, and mostly not enough explained to me. So I started a quest to find out the why and how behind everything. I studied about everything, and when I could not find information, I went in deep meditation in order to find the answers I was looking for. I was amazed with everything and actually wanted to know the history of it all, and I started to document about everything and wrote endless books on endless subjects. At a young age, everybody praised me, as they thought that I was very smart. I was able to figure things out nobody seemed to be able to figure out. I thought it was more a gift than being smart, but I always had answers for everything that happened. At one point in time, by always hearing how intelligent I was, my ego took over. I made myself into a business and made a fortune giving others answers they could not come up with, and selling them even books. Everybody felt they needed to be smart, but because time and history changed, there was not time enough for anybody to do what I had done. So everybody started to get involved in studying, but they had to choose some subjects, and even with just those couple of subjects, they didn't have the time, or they didn't have the inner vision I had developed through sitting in meditation to see the entire history. And although everybody learned a lot, there was more they didn't know. Later in the history of the world, many individuals got worshipped for their knowledge, or they found themselves intelligent and smart. But it was until a moment in their life, and especially when things happened in their life when they got sick, that they got confronted that they and the ones around them had very little knowledge. Up till today, even around you, many people fall sick, and although they can figure out a cause of how this came about, they are still in the darkness, not able to see the entire history of that individual that got confronted with that sickness. Any honest student of life and student of any subject realizes that there is always so much more that they don't know yet. And this is at least an honest approach, supposing to thinking that you know, that you are smart and intelligent. Without realizing, I became the one in charge of the history of everything, and this would keep everybody busy studying and trying to figure things out. The high realms of the gods. So Kalimabanco had seen my potential at an early age, and under his guidance trained me in every aspect and offered me a place in the higher realms of the gods. And I made myself into the god of comprehension. I became a great plus for his plan, as I would keep everybody busy with the phenomena, studying, analyzing, and finding solutions. Throughout the history of the higher realms of the gods, I also had gotten involved in battles and wars, getting everybody against each other of who was the most intelligent. Contributing to argumentations of who was right and who was wrong, who had the solution and who had figured it all out was another way of making war. Touring my realm, the maze. At one point in time in the history of Crystalia, with the permission of Kalimabanco, I made my second home in a realm in which I would experience my energy in full. Here I had my playground, without having to battle with the other keepers, but where other problems arose. I went to the plains of dreams, to one of the castles of garments, and took the body I still have today, representing my purpose. My realm is a maze or labyrinth and called the maze, which looks from a distance like a valley of snakes or endless intertwined roots, but they are actually mazes of tunnels inside my labyrinth. Countless tunnels and pathways that connect going up and down, over and under each other. It is scary for those who fear adventure, but those seeking adventure, there is always something new to discover. The inhabitants are easy to recognize, because they all walk around with a book in their hand. They are the sources and resources of information here, and you can ask things regarding the information of the book they carry and actually represent. It is a moving, living library, so to speak, and when you have spoken to one of them and received some information, they always end the conversation by directing you to find out more about that subject and telling you that there are many others walking around in the labyrinth that have even more information. It is a fun place to learn, but also very dangerous, as many visitors are trapped in this maze and forget that there is not enough time to comprehend it all. Mariah Morrow often visits my realm and is able to rescue some individuals by making them aware that in order to understand everything and how everything came about, that one needs to return to the source of all knowledge, which is Kandu. When one wants to find out everything just regarding Crystalia, the created world, one must go as well inside and connect with Kanimobanko, the governor of the mind, which is like a hard drive or a computer that holds all the information regarding Crystalia, the creation. Then it's about what specific information are you seeking. When it is about things in your familiar world, you have to connect with Starmaze, who is the keeper of the familiar realities, also being the keeper of the sixth dimension. When you want to know about unfamiliar things in the creation, you must connect with Spheron, the keeper of the seventh dimension. But as said before, when you want to know about everything, and from before the mind and the creation was created, one must connect with Kandu. These days, inside my realm of mazes, many individuals have settled down and have opened offices and endless schools in which you can attain some information. But no, it is just a speck of sand in an entire desert of sand. The same counts for the scientists who are working in their laboratories, and although they think highly of themselves, they know so little. The real trouble I encounter in my labyrinth is in regards to politicians and leaders of any kind who think that they have the answers and solutions. But when that would be so, the entire world would have changed already into a better place. Just like in your world, everybody has the answer to something, telling someone else what and how to do things, so the world can become a better place. However, fights, quarrels and wars are still going on, and the destruction with all the such-called intelligent people, it is even more destruction than in the entire history of our planet. The big change. Having two residences, in the higher realm of the physical gods and in my private realm, I was asked at one point in time by Mariah Morrow to become a faculty member at the Magical University of Life at the Sacred Archives. Mariah Morrow, being the principal who respected everybody and was wise, invited us all, the key masters, the keepers, and the guardians of the universe. And we, the keepers of conduct, received the name the Divanas. Under his guidance, we all had an equal position and shared the knowledge of the universe and nature from our perspective with the students, and we all felt important. It was a great change. We turned back into love and stopped our wars, for we all knew that you needed all the help you can get in order to save yourself and your planet. For those amongst you who want to become more aware and who understand that I am part and parcel of you and within everything and everybody, I invite you to go on a journey and rediscovering all about me in my realm, or sit in the classroom at the university, or learn the basics of life, or even connect with me through a home schooling system. All connections to me are an incredible experience, and the more you know, the better you can go through your life adventure. How I can help you in your life. Quote, life is an immensely complicated affair. Every effect is the result of so many causes, and likewise, every cause has so many effects, which differ in intensity according to the prevailing conditions. Maharaj Sawant Singh. End of quote. You are living in the age of technology, where your intellect has reached its peak, but you are still in the infant stages what real knowledge is concerned. Yes, you are able to analyze many things, and it may help in some areas, but realize that you are still touching the surface, not comprehending the entire picture. I am Mesh, the guiding force of comprehension, reminding you that there is always more to discover inside the maze of history in everything that occurs. There are no coincidences, and everything happens for a reason, but be careful announcing that you know. Thinking that you know. Always remember that the more you think you know, that there is always so much more still to be discovered. Don't be a know-it-all, as you will walk with your nose up in the air and others will isolate themselves from you and you will be pretty much on your own. Always remember that you can learn more by listening than by talking about you thinking that you know. Trying to look ahead. Most people try to figure out everything out before they do something or before they go somewhere. And this is connected to fear of the adventure, trying to be secure and in control. You are not able to overlook the entire situation. You make some preparation, and then it's about the adventure. Looking behind the scene. Life is looking at a movie, but also look behind the scene and see how the movie is made. Have you ever looked at the end of the movie how many people were involved in making the movie? Before the movie comes to town or on the TV, an entire history of things happened before, and so it is with everything. The things around you. Everything around you and all the things you use daily have an entire history. You just switched the light on, but did you ever think about how that switch got there and who invented the light bulb? You sit in a chair and often even take things for granted, but just think about all the people involved before the chair ended up at your home. The tree and the wood it came from, how the tree got its life, and go on. There is an entire history behind everything. You speak and learn the ABC, but have you ever looked up how language got developed? There is so much to discover. Your history. The person you are today is not the result of one thing, but of endless occurrences. It is the history of everything that happened in your life, the things you are aware of and not. And it even goes further back, as you came with an inheritance of your parents, and all your forefathers back to the first two beings in the world. Everything had an influence and is part of you today. For those who can accept that there were many lives before the life you have today, it is similar, as you are today the sum total of all these lives and all the thoughts and deeds that came from the lives before, And this dates as well back to the first time that your soul set foot in the creation, a long history in which everything affected everything. Thinking that you know somebody. Thinking that you know yourself is a very unsure area, as there is so much more you don't know about yourself. And it is the same for the same reason that you have to be careful thinking or saying that you know a person. You may know something about a person because you have seen that person often, or you have seen them doing similar things, but don't go even thinking there that you really know someone. There is more you don't know, and you will also be not surprised when that person does something they usually don't do. Do not box people in, because you don't want to be put in a box either. Injustice. Anything you see or hear has a long history before that last moment you heard about it or saw it, and these can be pleasant and unpleasant things. Do you have yourself completely in control of how you act and react? When you think that you are in control, just wait for an unexpected thing to happen that gets you at your weakest point and see how you react and act. When you see or get confronted with injustice in your opinion, just let justice take care of it, but do not judge it or that person yourself, as you have not the entire picture why that all happened. You know so little and can see so little, as there is such a long history before anything happens. Why you are not well. When you get confronted not being well, you probably can figure out a little bit about how it came about. But again, there is an entire history of occurrences before you became not well. It is your personal history, and for that reason as well, you cannot be compared with anybody else, and you need to be treated accordingly and individually. The healthcare practitioner can look a little deeper into the matter, and even the history of the well-being of your family, but there is always more they cannot see or comprehend. Having the answer for others. Be careful to have your answer ready for someone else, telling them what and how to do things, because there is so much more you don't understand and comprehend. Anyway, it is better to wait until somebody asks you for advice, and know when you give advice that it's only one way of endless ways, because anything that happens is the cause of many things and not just one. Keep this in mind, even when you have become a specialist in one area or another in the future. Don't play God on earth who knows and has the answers. In regards to studying. Studying can be for the sake of your interest in something of which you like to know more about, and school studies and later studying for profession is just learning a little bit and possibly bringing you some money to support your life. However, realize that there is no time enough in this world which is bound to time to know everything, not even regarding one subject. Make things practical in your life, and when studying is not your thing, just do it for the sake of studying and not connected to an impossible mission of trying to know it all. The way of accumulating knowledge is not an external journey, but an inwards one as well, a journey inside the mind which holds all the knowledge about the creation. And when you want to know more about spirit, your soul, and the Creator, you must go beyond the realm of mind and matter. You have to look for a special teacher who has gone before you that journey. When you are fortunate and meet such a teacher, they will not claim any knowledge themselves, but show you the way to find out for yourself. The Magical Counsel. In regards to my guiding force of comprehension, also realize that all of us, being the Magical Council and faculty members of the Magical University of Life, except for Kandu and Moriah Morrow, also just know about our guiding force that we as individuals represent. In regards to what we can share with you, realize that knowledge is only connected to the world of body, mind and matter, Crystallia, the creation, and that knowledge can only be absorbed by you according to your state of consciousness at that present moment, although deep inside of you, you already have this treasure of knowledge. Yes, so there are different levels of consciousness to realize and understand things. And when you want to understand more from the worlds beyond the world of body, mind and matter, you have to connect with Mariah Morrow and through him with Kandu. On that journey, it will also be about comprehending regarding the levels of consciousness you will be experiencing and developing. Comprehension. There is always more we don't know than we know.